This question is from section 7.2, for which you will be given the probability and you'll be asked to find the x value. Unlike the previous section where you have the x value and you'll be asked to find the probability, for example, of x less than 15, and you use the normal CDF function. So let me read this question and do the three parts. The number of chocolate chips in a bag of chocolate chip cookies is approximately normally distributed with a mean of 1,263 chips and a standard deviation of 118. So we have the mean and the standard deviation. Determine the 26th percentile for the number of chocolate chips in a bag. He's asking us what would be the number of chocolate chips that would place them in the 26th percentile. So in other words, he wants us to find this x value for which the area below this x value is 26%. Because when I say like you score in the 26th percentile, it means 26% of students score below you. So anytime you see a percentile, it's an area to the left, and this is what I shaded right here. I shaded the area to the left. So what would be the x value such that the area to its left is 26%? In order to do that, you can use your TI calculator and use a function called the inverse norm function, which is inverse norm. And this function requires the three arguments. The first argument is the area to the left, which we already have, and then the mean, and then the standard deviation, which is going to be area to the left is 0.26, so it will be inverse norm 0.26, and then the mean is 1,263, and then the standard deviation is what is the standard deviation? 118. And your answer for x, guys, should be less than the mean because this area is less than 50%. The mean will be right at 50%, 50 percentile, because it's the same as the median. So anything that is less than 50% will be to the left of the mean and will be less than the mean. How do you use the calculator? Let me bring the calculator up. Here you go. So I'm going to turn it on. You go to second, variable, and it is inverse norm. So anytime you need to find the x value, it's an inverse norm. The area is 0.26 and the mean is 1,263 and the standard deviation is 118. Press enter, press enter again, and it is 1,187. So let me just put that one. Okay, let's go to the next part. Determine the number of chocolate chips in a bag that make up the middle 97% of bags. So let me show you how to do this. When he asks you for the middle 97%, here's how it means. 97% is a middle area, so just put 97% in the middle, and you notice there's going to be a tail to the right and the tail to the left. Well, the total area under the curve is 100%, so what's left from 97%? It will be 100 minus 97, which is 3%. But notice, guys, the area is going to be split up between the two tails, so split up the 3% between the two tails. So this one will be 1.5%. And this one as well will be 1.5%. So if you're doing a homework question, let's say the middle 80%. So you put 80% in the middle. What's left from 100%, 20%, you split it 10 and 10%. That's how it works. So in the middle, there are two x values. We need to find this x value and that x value. And we're going to use the same formula, which is the inverse norm. So for the first one, x equals inverse norm. I need the area to the left. Well, the area to the left, guys, is the 1.5%. Because the 3% I divided by 2, I get 1.5%. But you have to write it as a decimal, 0.015. and then the mean, which is 1263, and then the standard deviation, which is 118. That will be the first x. For the second one, x2, it will be inverse norm. Okay, I need the area to the left again. This is how the formula works. If the area to the right of x2 is 1.5%, what's the area to the left? It will be 98.5%, because subtract 100% minus 1.5% will be 98.5, but you need to change it to a decimal. 0.985, and then 1263, and then 118. And let me get you the answers for both of them. So x1 equals, x2 equals, 1 is going to be below the mean and 1 is going to be above the mean. Okay guys, you can see I went to inverse norm, area is 0.015, mean 1263, and sigma, enter, and here you go, 1006.9. Let's do the second one. Norm, inverse norm, it's going to be 0.985, and then paste, and you get the answers. So to round it to one decimal, to one whole number, so to a whole number would be 1007. And let's see, let's bring it back. And the other one is 1519. Okay. Part C. For part C, what is the interquartile range of the number of chocolate chips in a bag of chocolate chip cookies? Well, interquartile range, as you know from previous chapter, it's IQR equals Q3 minus Q1. So I need Q3 and Q1. Q3 is the 75th percentile. It's P75. And Q1 is the first quarter, which is the 25th percentile. So for Q1, how do I find this value right here? It's going to be inverse norm. Okay, we said Q1 is the 25th percentile. Just use the 25%, 0.25, and put the 1263, the mean, and then the standard deviation, which is 118, and find the answer. That's a Q1. Q3, it's going to be inverse norm. Well, you guys know that Q3 is P75, is the 75th percentile. Means the area to the left of Q3 is 75%, so you just use 0.75. 1263, 118, and let me get you the answer using the calculator. So if I do inverse norm on the first one, it will be 1183.4, and on the 75% it will be 1342.6. If you round it to the nearest whole number, it will be 1343.